Tonight, Colorado politicians Michael Bennet and Gardner's trip to CSU got interrupted by protesters.
We have to stand up for the people of Israel and Palestine!
CSU football had their spring game last weekend, but it was far from spring. See how the game played out later in the show.
Finally, what in the world is going on with Clark? Kate Sherman investigates how CSU is becoming Construction State University.
All that and more on CTV starting now.
Good evening. I'm Chigozie Ozor.
And I'm Borkowski.
A resident of Aggie Village passed away earlier this week. Samuel Nega, resident of Cottonwood, unexpectedly passed away off campus. Their roommates and family have been notified and will continue to be in communication with the university. While the cause is unknown, Housing and Dining say there are no campus safety concerns related with Samuel's passing. If any need support during this time, they are encouraged to reach out to CSU's mental health resources.
A Denver man is booked in Larimer County Jail for allegedly sex trafficking minors. 21-year-old Ivan Banuelos Gandara was arrested and faces multiple charges, including 4 counts of soliciting a child for prostitution, 2 counts of sexual assault on a child, and internet luring of a minor. Police were notified of a child sexual assault victim in late February who identified Gandara. She said he offered her cash in exchange for sexual acts with both him and others. The sheriff's office believes there may be more victims. If you have any information, you are encouraged to call investigator Marcus Simlane at 970-498-5515.
A 20-year-old man was found dead in his car, submerged in Horsetooth Reservoir on April 19th.
The Nissan SUV was reported earlier on the northeast side of the reservoir. The authorities responded to the call and found the man dead on arrival. State Patrol revealed that the length of the time the car was submerged and the cause of the crash are still unknown.
Due to this being an ongoing investigation, his cause of death and identity have not yet been released.
Good evening. I'm your fill-in weather anchor, Jaden James. Looking at our current conditions, it will be slightly chilly at 61 degrees. Make sure to hold on to your hats because we have 11-mile-an-hour winds coming to us from the northwest. Heading into our overnight lows, along the I-25 corridor, temperatures are pretty similar in that 50-degree range. However, Telluride, Alamosa, Limon, and Burlington have red flags warnings. This means the land is dry with a high chance of fires. Heading into Friday, we can expect to see some rain, wind, and humidity. Not the most ideal for the last Fridays students have on campus this semester. Now, let's check the conditions for the last week of school. Saturday and Sunday, we can expect some precipitation and clouds for the rest of the week. Saturday to Monday, the low will be 38 degrees, but these temperatures will warm up as the week goes on. That's all the weather we have for tonight. Back to you, Chi.
Thanks, Jaden. This Monday, former Colorado Senator Gardner and current Senator Michael Bennet visited CSU to discuss the importance of bipartisanship. However, the first 5 minutes were interrupted by multiple protesters.
We have to interrupt genocide when it's happening in our names. We have to stand up for the people of Israel and Palestine.
And while they did not address the substance of the protest, Parsons, Gardner, and Bennet all emphasized the importance of the right to protest and free speech, and hearing opposing views on college campuses. The event concluded with the politicians encouraging young people to continue to use their voices, form their own opinions, and remain engaged in the political process.
This past Wednesday, President Joe Biden signed a bill that could ban TikTok nationwide. However, this does not mean that TikTok will be banned immediately. The current owner of TikTok, ByteDance, has up to a year to sell the social media platform to an American company. The CEO of the company is threatening legal action against the bill as they see it as unconstitutional. CSU students also share their input on this bill.
I feel like it's really unnecessary. I feel like there's definitely more things that the government could be focusing on other than the TikTok ban, especially since it's just a social media website, and I feel like it has become a big way for people to voice their own opinions, and it's a really big thing for freedom, like free speech.
Honestly, I go back and forth on it, but I've kind of been leaning more towards it seems like a highly performative piece of legislation because it has little to no backing that there's any actual security risks other than the fact that it's a foreign country's thing, and switching it to an American company just means that now it's just going to be Americans monitoring your information.
If ByteDance refuses to sell TikTok, the app will no longer be able to download off the App Store, and those with the app will be cut off from usage. With the pushback from the American people as well as TikTok's parent company, only time will tell if this bill will go into effect.
Poudre School District is considering the consolidation of several schools amid decreasing enrollment and budget cuts. Proposed consolidations include Lopez Elementary, Beatty Elementary, and Preston Middle School, among many others. During a school board listening session, many parents expressed concerns about negative impacts these changes may have on their children, such as increased commute times and a lack of access to public transportation. The Board of Education will continue to consider public input before making their final decision by June 11th. April is Distracted Driving Awareness Month, a time to remember how to stay safe behind the wheel.
According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, driving distracted at 55 miles an hour is equivalent to driving the entire football field with your eyes closed.
To ensure absolute safety when driving, the American Automobile Association outlines 5 safety tips to be aware of.
1. Prepare for the trip, adjusting mirrors and climate controls.
2. Become familiar with the vehicle equipment.
3. Use message-taking functions, limiting the amount of device interaction.
4. If possible, ask passengers to perform any activities that could be distracting.
And 5. Secure any mobile devices.
When we come back, Rams football is preparing for next season. Sports anchor Zoe Weir has the stats from the spring game.
Living with someone you don't know on the other side of the wall is hard, especially if you don't know how to be a good roommate. The first thing that you'll want to do to be a good roommate is make sure that you always stay quiet. Be considerate of others when using common spaces and appliances.
Hey buddy, what you doing?
I'm just gonna need like 40 minutes. Be respectful of your roommate's privacy. Ugh, my bad. Finally, make sure that you clean up after yourself. Oh, fresh toothbrush.
Have you seen my toothbrush?
Follow these tips to get along with your roommates and your landlord.
Welcome back. The CSU Spring Football Game took place last Saturday, where the team delivered a great preview of the upcoming season. Now, unlike a regular game day, the Green and Gold split into 2 teams in a scrimmage-like style where they showed off all their off-season work and changes. The spring game took place last Saturday, where the Ones took on the World. The Ones being the projected starters taking on all of the backups, giving the reserves a 21-0 lead to start the game. The starters were not able to come back in this scrimmage-style game, losing 28-17. As we take a look at the team, we start with the Ones. To no surprise, quarterback Braden Fowler-Nicolosi led the Rams. Running the ball was Damian Henderson, who we never saw much playing time from last year, but he came to the Rams as a 4-star recruit out of high school. Right behind him was Keegan Hollis.
Hollis had been out with an ACL tear the past year, but earned more than a number of carries in this spring game, where he ended up moving to the ones mid-game. We also saw wide receiver transfer Donovan Ollie have some great catches alongside with Jamari Pearson and Caleb Goody. As we take a look at the reserves, they are led by QB2 Jackson Bristow. Bristow played a few snaps last season when the Rams were in the lead, getting his most playing time against Utah Tech. Running the ball for him, we saw running back Avery Morrow, who had multiple carries throughout the game. Stopping the twos, we saw brand new transfer cornerback Isaiah Essesima from Nevada. He had several pass breakups plus an interception. After this winter light game, Matt Greenwald and I spoke to two key players from the Rams during their spring season.
Okay, quick suiting up feature. We're here with star linebacker number 30, Chase Wilson, the heartbeat of the defense. So how was spring for you?
It's been great. I thought we had a lot of good things in the spring. We got better at a lot of things we needed to get better at defensively. Guys were working hard. I thought it was a good end to it today. Snowy day, so it was good overall.
Awesome.
Spring ball was a great success. Just wrapped up our spring game. Ready for the fall. Come out and support.
The spring game was a cold one, but definitely a great one. We can't wait to see them back in action next fall. This is Zoe Weir, CTV 11 Sports.
Thanks, Zoe. Yesterday, April 24th, the Laurie Student Center celebrated its 62nd birthday. The cheer team, band, Cam the Ram, and the iconic Ramgram were all in attendance to celebrate the LSC. Music was provided by KCSU DJs, and a photo booth was set up outside, while cake was handed out to students and staff in the plaza. Wearing birthday hats to celebrate the occasion, people across campus came to join in on the festivities.
Another big event happening right now is Ramfest. Our reporter and news director, Robbie Patla, is on the scene right now. How's it going, Robbie?
That's right, guys. I am at the arena on the ground floor where hundreds of students and Fort College residents have come to enjoy the festivities. As you can see, currently we have the opener of Sugar Bridges going, and then after that it's going to be Midland. It's a great opportunity for Fort College residents to get out there in their country. Back to you guys.
After the break, will we finally get to know when the Clark construction will be done? We'll be back in 30 seconds.
I'll be right back. Hi! You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later. After 2 years?
You gotta be kidding me! Okay, no.
Robbie!
Seriously, do you have anything you can use against the dragon? I can do fireball, that'll do a lot of damage.
Yeah, to all of us!
Well,
We're in a 4-foot group!
I'm sorry, what else do you want me to do? I can do
Okay. Hold on. All right. Wizard, what do you do?
Welcome back from the break. I'm Kate Sherman. The Andrew G. Clark Building has been a staple of Colorado State University's campus for over 50 years. The building has held thousands of students and classes, along with professors' offices and study spaces. But the building became outdated over the years and is now facing a major renovation. The full Clark renovation is expected to be done in 2027.
With the Clark renovation being such a large-scale project, what really caused this building to need such a revitalization?
There's a sense that Clark needed to be redone, but when a building is so central to the lifeblood and the working of a campus, taking any part of it offline for a period of time hurts, right? it's simultaneously an illustration of how important the building is and how important it is that we maintain it, but also what the short-term cost is going to be. At different points, different parts of Clark are going to be off or online. Right now, the biggest classroom portion of it is Clark A, and the university has really worked hard to figure out where those classes might be held. There aren't that many large lecture halls like A101. And so some of those classes have been cut down in size. We've had to have some more classes taking place at, earlier in the morning or later in the afternoon, which is, inconvenient for everybody to a certain degree. The university is big enough and capacious enough that we can handle that for a period of time. Clark B is the part that is going offline right now. That is 4 hallways. It's the bridge part of Clark. That is almost entirely faculty offices, right? The anthropology department, sociology, history, some of our smaller centers and interdisciplinary units are there. And we have been moving those groups into new buildings over the course of the last 6 months.
I have been in this office for about 7 years. We've been, kept informed along the way that we would be moving. And then, of course, there was a lot of discussion and brainstorming of where. There's not much extra room here on campus, but we did just find out that we'll go May 17th. We need to be all packed up and organized, and there's a whole system in place for how our things will get where they're going. And I believe we're going to some modular buildings is what I have heard. So,
and then over the summer, what will be happening is that they will be taking those buildings down, working really carefully to make sure that the air quality remains unimpeded, and slowly but surely you will see a new bright light in the sky through there, because that building will come down over the late part of the summer and into the fall. And then construction will sort of take place in that space. Clark B currently has 30,000 square feet of office space. The new building will have 120,000 square feet.
I went to school here back in the late 90s, and so been in Clark for a long time, but it's got good character, which we all appreciate, but it's definitely time to fix it up and revitalize, as they say. So there was a wasp in my printer not too long ago, and it came from, and there's wasps upstairs and in the restroom down the hall when the ceiling tiles were moved. So things like that, and it's time to give it a facelift. So yeah. And, construction's always a challenge, right? We're nervous about moving, but I think the end result will be amazing. So,
when we were trying to figure out where faculty offices were going to be, people were really very concerned that, faculty offices, the life of a department is not just faculty doing work in their offices. It's also where they meet students. A lot of the sort of individual teaching that happens in those spaces. So people were very concerned about whether we were going to find places, not just for those departments, for those faculty to kind of work, but for those departments to be together.
We're all humans and have, some people are anxious about moving, of course, and this is where they've been for a long time, and nervous that students will still be able to find us easily, because that's why we're here. So, but then also lots of people are really excited. Their drawings are amazing, and the architect company has held sessions where we've gotten to chime in about what will work well in the future. And so we're really excited. We'll have a patio, we believe, that will offer some great fresh air, and because, it'll be different not having the walkway downstairs, right? Big building there now.
So what new renovations are coming to the Clark building?
First of all, Clark A will have some positive new additions. There'll be some places like adding meditation rooms and lactation rooms, to bring those into compliance with really, I think, our values for what these buildings should be doing. It will also house CLA's Academic Success Center, where our ASCs work. It'll house the Writing Center, which will move from Eddy Hall. It will house some trio space, which is really about student success for students coming into the university.
And what is happening to Clark B and C?
On the next floors, we'll have an anthropology teaching lab, which will be kind of a glass room where we can see some artifacts that they use in anthropology, even as the classrooms are working. Anthropology, history, languages, and sociology will all have their offices in the upper 2 floors. So this will go 4 stories tall. And then also on that 4th floor, we will be opening the new Joe Blake Center for the Engaged Humanities, which is a research and community outreach center, which will host speakers. It'll host community collaborations. It should be a really pretty innovative space, and it will have a view out over the Front Range in a way that I think will be pretty spectacular.
I'll miss my beautiful view out my window. This tree, we realized that it's been here since Earth Day 34 years ago. So that's hard to say goodbye because it's been a staple here for a lot of people. I look out and there's people just relaxing underneath it, taking a break or having a meeting or enjoying some coffee. So that's probably the part I'll miss the most.
According to CSU Source, it is estimated that 99% of students at Colorado State University will take at least one class in Clark during their academic journey. And with this major renovation taking over such a large space on campus, students are bound to have some opinions.
I personally will be the first to say Clark is nasty and I hate it and I dread having classes in that building because there's no natural sunlight. The fluorescent light gives me such a headache. I have such a hard time focusing. It's grimy. If you go in the bigger lecture halls, there's literally stains on the back of the wall from people's head grease and dirt and grime, and it's disgusting and gross. And I'm sick that they're demolishing it now, taking their sweet time on demolishing it now, because I won't be here next year, and it would have been nice to experience a nicer building.
My opinions on Clark, it reminds me of The Last of Us. The basements are sealed off, and it feels like they have a secret infection down there that they're keeping hidden from the rest of campus. Do I think that they should have done the renovations in the middle of the school year? No, because I don't want to walk all the way to Johnson. That's about it.
You know, it definitely looked like it was falling apart a little bit, like paint was chipping out on the outsides. You know, some of the doors were a little old, and it can become a puzzle for a little bit. I mean, but other than that, it's not too bad. I mean, it's a big project. You know, Hazelton is a big time, construction company that does a lot of work out in Fort Collins. They're a really tough competitor.
Last semester in my biochem class, and in the middle of one of the classes just started leaking, like the ceiling, and it just kind of kept getting bigger, and we didn't know what to do, so we canceled class. There's a video up on Barstool of it, and everyone's kind of sitting there because it just keeps getting bigger. We don't know what to do, and I don't know how much you guys have explored it before it got shut down, but the basements were really scary and a little ominous.
Personally, I think they could have done the layout a little bit better. There's a lot of parts that are inefficient and kind of hate them. But honestly, the renovations are much needed.
I actually love Clark. I know that's an unpopular opinion, but it is one of my favorite buildings on campus. I think it has a lot of personality. I love when the ceiling leaks. It just it's kind of like fun ambiance. So yeah, I am a Clark lover. I am pro Clark, and I stand by that.
It is estimated that Clark A will be back and available by May of 2025, while the full project is projected to be done by the summer of 2027. So guys, are you Clark lovers or Clark haters?
I'm going to say I'm a Clark lover because that is the home of this beautiful studio that you are seeing right now.
That's a very good point.
I'm going to have to disagree. I'm kind of a Clark hater. I think she definitely needs some renovation. And also, the only things I've had in Clark is exams. So I don't have great memories with Clark.
That is rough.
It's not my
I'm
favorite.
really just sad that I won't be able to see the finished Clark project.
I will say I am glad I graduate in 27. She also graduates in 27. So I'm hoping that we will be able to see the finished product. Hopefully construction doesn't take longer than it needs to.
Hopefully.
Because we never know. But crossing my fingers, hopefully we get to see it.
Well, that is all the news that we have for you tonight. Make sure to tune into our final sports show next Tuesday.
I'm Kate Sherman.
I'm Bailey Borkowski.
And I'm Chigozie Ozor. Have a good night.